Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Women Winning Wednesdays. I'm your host, attorney Elsa W. Smith, and I'm also the owner of the law offices of Elsa W. Smith, where our mission is to empower women through estate planning. You know, every week over the past year and a half, my team and I have brought you conversations and educational segments with the goal of empowering you. Uh, After producing more than 80 episodes of Women Winning Wednesdays, as I said, over the last year and a half, we're taking a hiatus to reflect on what we've learned and how the conversations that we've had with change makers and thought leaders are impacting our community. Over a year and a half later, we've decided to take a break and reimagine how Women Winning Wednesdays can do an even better job of raising awareness, of educating, and empowering you. You followed us as we tackled a number of issues. For example, we delved into how and why real estate can help you transfer generational wealth. We talked about how we can change the narrative within communities of color so that protecting your health and wealth are part of your dinner table conversations. We talked about guarding your mental health as we exist and thrive as women of color in professional spaces. And to that last point, we talked about how important it is for women to have safe spaces, to be heard, to be seen, to debate, to dream, and to grow. I want to share a really short clip of what an amazing opportunity and journey Women Winning Wednesdays has been so far. And if you bear with me, this will be a short video clip. Enjoy.
To Women Winning Wednesdays.
The bases are covered. Nothing that I can think of.
We are building what we hope are lifelong relationships. Many women going through divorce or having gone through divorce. It is emotionally taxing.
Like you have the power to be well. Are you willing to plug in?
How can we incorporate planned giving into a comprehensive estate plan, and logistically, how would that work?
Yes, absolutely. It is okay not to be okay.
And think outside of the box. You need the space to be able to feel comfortable.
Elsa W. Smith, you're a boss. Like little old me, I'm on it.
The higher income waging spouse will say, well, we need to save money, so you just use my lawyer.
Oh dear. To make that mental shift from selling to how can we serve?
You don't want their negativity to affect your dreams, right?
You really know what's next, and I'm actually at peace with that because up until that point in my life, everything had been strategically.
I always like to touch on, what were the challenges, in your, on your path.
There were people who didn't, whether they expressly stated it or whether it was sort of in the innuendo, didn't think I was necessarily deserving of being in a position, whether it was, and people aren't always so explicit, but you can kind of read the room, right? So whether that was.
Wow. I am just so incredibly blessed to have these women in my sphere of influence. And they were just a few of the women that I had the pleasure of interviewing. You need moments like this to really appreciate what you've created. And through collaboration, you can see the potential, the massive potential to change women's lives. We're going to review what we've learned from these interviews and all the educational segments. We're going to analyze the feedback that we've received from viewers. about the type of content we generate and the manner in which we provide it. We're striving to do more and make the information even more accessible to you. You know, society is changing at such a fast pace that what you did, you were doing 2 or 3 years ago may not be suitable and may not meet the needs of your audience now. So we're attuned to that, and we're being nimble, right? So I want you to know that to stay in the loop on of our plans, do subscribe to our newsletter, the weekly, at elsadwsmithlaw.com. You can always post a comment on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube at Elsa W. Smith Law when you find a particular episode that you've liked. Now, I understand that, life is what it is, and you may not have had a chance to see every single episode that we aired on the show. What I want is to challenge you. I challenge you to go back and watch them, on YouTube. The entire library is there, and it's free for you to access. And let us know what you think about each one. I have a few that I want to talk about real briefly that stood out to me. Now, like I said, there were so many great interviews over the last year and a half, but I want to talk about just 4 in particular. Of course, one that's always going to be, close to my heart is the inaugural episode of Women Winning Wednesdays. That's back in April of 2021. And that was our interview with Tina Marie Marshall. She's a realtor, broker, and the owner of Maryland Prime Realty Company. Now, in this conversation, Tina Marie and I talked about how negative experiences that she had from realtors inspired her to become a realtor and then a broker. In that, keeping it real conversation, we talked about how financial struggles in her own family during the loss of a loved one really brought home the importance of estate planning. And then finally, she shared how she's using her brokerage to fulfill her mission of encouraging home ownership in communities of color as a way of building generational wealth. In 2021, in June of 2021, I should say, I spoke with Dr. Paula Anderson, owner of Pace Consulting. Dr. Paula and I address why mental health is such a taboo subject in communities of color. We talked about how the killing of George Floyd was so triggering for her as a mom of 2 sons. She was authentic and transparent about how the aftershocks, thank you, how the aftershocks of that tragedy really, took a toll on her. And also, we discovered through that, through that interview that trauma manifests itself very differently in different people. But she also made it okay for us not to be okay. And I think I can speak for a vast majority of this audience that was a very traumatic time, for all of us. And that I have not shied away of discussing the intersection of mental health and estate planning. In March of 2022, I interviewed Tamlin Franklin, speaker, author, electrical engineer, etiquette trainer, and mom. She is affectionately known as the Etiquette Lady and is the president of the Etiquette Consulting Group International. I enjoyed this interview so much because Tamlin reminded us all that good manners are good business. As part of her work in etiquette coaching, She's making a profound impact on our youth. She was able to get past her own fears and insecurities of being a Black woman in a predominantly white etiquette coaching space, overcoming those fears. And what she's done since is part of her legacy. And she's a source of inspiration to us all. And then just last month, I interviewed Peggy Morris, founder of Sisters for Sisters Network, Incorporated. Peggy is an icon here in the DMV. That's District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia for those of us outside of this area. And Peggy has a long track record of service to others. In fact, Sisters for Sisters Network Incorporated was founded with the desire to provide a safe space for women to come together, hone their business and networking skills, and give back to the community. And at the time of that interview, Sisters for Sisters was about to celebrate its 20th anniversary. Now, to learn more about Peggy's story and Sisters for Sisters Networking Incorporated, I want you to go back and check out that interview. You know, of course, all of the conversations I've had and all the educational segments we've produced have contributed to making us a more effective estate planning firm, you know, more in tune with the needs of the people we serve. They have allowed us to create a robust library of free online content ready and available to the public. You're going to continue to see videos on the channel posted weekly. So like I said, this is a hiatus. This isn't goodbye. This is just, we're just taking a pause. Now, if there's a question that you have about estate planning, I want you to reach out to us. It may be the subject of an upcoming video. If Women Winning Wednesdays has helped you or has helped someone that you love, we'd appreciate you leaving us a Google review. I'll post the link to that below after this episode. We appreciate your continued support of this show. And if you'd like to be a guest, we have information on how you can do that, and I'll post the link to that below as well. I want you to be sure and follow us on our other social media. That includes YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Elsa W. Smith Law. And one other point before I say so long or see you later, I want to share, and it's kind of personal. You know, there was a time where I didn't even think that I could get past my first episode, you know, that's going live every week. And thanks to business coaches and other folks that are near and dear to my heart, I did it. And I kept on doing it. And I kept showing up. And I discovered that I loved it. And why was that? Well, because I turned the focus away from myself and towards and onto the people that I serve. And that's you. So thank you. Thank you for the pleasure of your presence. Be well, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Take care.